Alright. Let's load the music. Hello everyone, how you doing? Naruhodo. How do you like my new meme? I made it. Also really gotta make the microphone settings. So welcome everybody, thank you for joining. We're continuing with the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. I hope you like my new meme. I think it's funny. So yeah, here's the summary so far. Last time we saw, or I guess we didn't saw, but our friend Kazuma got murdered, and we were found in the closet. And people think that it's us, but it is not us. I hope it is not us. So now we have to prove our innocence, and we're investigating. We met Professor Sholmes, or Herlock Sholmes, and he is a dumbass. 9th January, SS Berea, first class cabin in a passageway. I wish we hadn't been thrown out like that. I wish we'd managed to find some clue as to what that speckled band might be. It's a snake, I'm telling you, because of the preview. We didn't manage to investigate at all. And I imagine that we won't be able to for a while longer. We'll never get past the sailor guarding the door. He's clearly glaring at us, as if to say, don't even think about it. Oh, wait a minute. What is it? Well, what happened to a great detective friend? Where did he go? Oh yes, he's completely disappeared. When did he do that? He slipped away as quietly as the wind, but not before ensuring these were securely back on my wrists. I mean, he did that in the cabin, dude. Oh, we can't even converse with him. Let's see if we can investigate anything. Ooh, we could investigate the door. Or him. I really wish we'd had a chance to look around in Miss Pavlova's cabin. Stoyanov. What? Why you look like that? You want something? Maybe you want me to throw you out again, Oh, no, definitely not that. Next time I'll have to throw you out. I'll show you where lobsters spend winter. Understand? Where do they understand? Where do they spend winter? Maybe I should stay clear of him until he's forgot my face. Yeah, that's a good idea, bro. I don't think he'll ever forget your face, Naruhodo-san. Well, that's bad. Ooh, new dialogue. The door leads to the second class area. It's locked. I can't open it. No, well, that stands to reason. No one wants to let the murderer escape. Gosh, she gave me a very stern look when she said that. Yeah. It's very interesting that, like, one look can just have so many emotions with it. First class cabin number 1. Yes, that's our cabin. Not... okay, this is still dialogue, but it's not the same. Anyway, I wonder if Inspector Hosonaga has managed to uncover any new clues. Alright! Yes, we should probably find him and ask. Yeah, that's basically investigation part 2 now, huh? Kazuma's cabin. 9th January, SS Berea, first class cabin, number 1. It looks like they're still investigating in here. Yes, on that subject. I wonder if Inspector Hosonaga is unscathed. What do you mean, unscathed? Surely you have forgotten, have you, Naruhodo-san? Don't you remember what he said about allowing you out of this cabin to investigate? He was going to talk to the captain about it. He said he'd lay his life on the line for you. I think this was a proverb. Oh, yes. But I'm sure he was exaggerating. Let's see what he has to say for himself. He might have some new information for us. You never know. Oh, I guess we just... yeah, investigate, I guess. This is where Kazuma spent his final moments, writing his diary. 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Look at his writing here on this page. It's almost impossible to believe that he's gone. Kazuma-sama left us a valuable clue in these words. I'm sure of it. We have to solve this mystery, Naruto-san. We will. Oh, there's this. Ah, there he is. Let's talk to the sailor. You. Where did you go? Oh, sorry, I just went to the next door cabin to investigate. Why? Who gave you permission for this? Well, Seaman Hosonaga did. That new Japanese, was it? Later, I will roll him into ball, throw him in courtroom. Ooh, he's gone back to guarding the door. I hope Inspector Hosonaga doesn't find himself in too much trouble on our account. He's really gone out of his way to help us, hasn't he? When we get back to Japan, we'll have to take him for a stake at La Carnival. That could be a very long time from now, Naruto-san. Yeah, like 2 months maybe. Even if he just gets sent back immediately. These are the rules of passage for travel aboard the SS Buria. Passenger must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in the cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. So by bringing her pet on board, Miss Pavlova has broken the rules. Also the sword. Literally a sword, dude. She called it a friend, didn't she? Yes, although we don't know what form this friend takes as of yet. I'm almost certain that whatever it is, it's inside the traveling case in a cabin. A friend. There's more to this than it seems, I think. Right, let's talk to him. Oh god, he got beaten up. Ah, you're back. Inspector, what happened to you? Your face is... Please, don't worry about it. They're just scratches. Made by a bear, maybe? When I told the captain that I'd given you permission to investigate, he told me he'd pummel me with his fists and then toss me overboard. What? But the pummeling was over in a flash, and he must have decided against throwing me overboard, so it was nothing, really. It looks like he wasn't joking when he said he'd lay his life on the line if he had to. Well, thanks to your efforts, we now know a little about the neighboring cabin. Yes, so I understand. Oh. I bumped into a man claiming to be a great detective a while ago. I think his name was something like Herlock Sholmes. I don't think he was German, though. Ah, that explains it. Shall we compare notes, then? We can tell you what we found out. Yes, let's do it. The cabin next door. So let me switch screens so I have my dashboard up. What? Nikolina Pavlova? She's in the cabin next door. Oh, do you know who she is? Please, what self-respecting ballet fan wouldn't know this graceful angel, a 90-degree angle. Ahem. Oops, I think I upset him there. Well, that tells us the neighboring cabin is unrelated to the case at least. Oh, how? Because angels don't go around committing crimes, do they? Oops, now I've definitely upset him. Inspector, has your investigation here provided fruitful? If I'm honest, there is very little more I can do. Our duty is to make sure the scene isn't disturbed, ready to hand over to the Hong Kong police. So I'm just keeping watch here, trying not to take my eyes off the job. Oh, I see. Ah, there is one thing. I do have a small piece of new information for you. Oh, what? Yes, do tell us, Inspector, please. New information. What is this new information you have, Inspector? It's this. The Buria's medical office has finished examination of the body. I managed to obtain the report. Oh, Kazuma's post-mortem report. Kazuma-sama. So, what was the cause of death? Poison? Damage to the cervical vertebra is what... Strangulation? Is what's written in the report. His neck was broken? Yes, it would seem so. There was no obvious wounds or other signs of injury, so at first I think they were considering poison. But it turns out they found no trace of poison in the system at all. Well, what weapon was used then? Nothing has been found as yet, but the fact that there are no signs of a wound suggests it may have been a blunt object, something that wouldn't leave a mark. Oh, I see. Yeah, I think it's like basically the cobra has strangulated him, I think. Because that's also how they used to hang prisoners. Like the hanging wasn't actually by suffocating, it was by breaking the neck when they fell down, basically. So like the struggle that some people saw on like TV in like retellings of them dangling is not entirely accurate, I think. All the body's nerves run through the spine to the brain. A strong enough impact to the neck could induce death. It is a possibility, and no obvious wound would be left. Poor Kazuma. I have a second copy of the report. It might be useful, you're welcome to have it. Really? Are you sure? Yes, it's fine. I trust you. After all, if I didn't trust you, I'd never have agreed to you leaving this cabin in the first place, would I? Ah. The post-mortem report has been entered into the court record. Let's look at it. Report. Somewhere between 1 AM and a little past 2 AM. Cause of death, damage to the cervicals, vertebrae resulting in instant death. The victim's neck was almost certainly broken as a result of a strong blow to the area. No obvious external injuries or traces of poison. So basically what we knew. The Great Detective. Oh, Mr. Sholmes was here, was he? Yes. He seemed to be enjoying himself a little too much as he crept about on the floor investigating. But then he suddenly left. I suppose he must have become bored. Did he say anything at all? Actually, now that you mention it, yes. Just one thing, but he practically shouted it. It's shoe polish, was all he said. Shoe polish. I wonder what he meant. It was when he was over there by the piece of broken glass, do you see? Oh, so that's shoe polish, the brown thing? Ah, perhaps he was talking about this brick-colored mark, do you think? Ah, yes, that must be it. But how could Mr. Sholmes know that it's shoe polish? That leaves me cold, I'm afraid. I have no idea. What is it, Susato-san? Well, Kazuma-san was wearing leather shoes with a very dark tan hue. Dark tan? A sort of dark brownish red then. Yes, a little like the color of red wine, but darker. I often repaired them for him. Oh, does this mean that this mark was made by the polish on Kazuma's shoes as he scuffed on the floor? The mark on the floor has been entered into the court record. He might not actually have been murdered here. He might actually have been dragged there, so that's kind of like the drag marks. That's really all I can tell you at this stage. I should return to my post. My fellow crewman's eyes are boring into the back of my head. Yes, that might be for the best. Thank you. Ahem. I'm almost amming now. Poor Inspector, you look exhausted. Oh, no. Well, I feel terrible that I failed to protect Asogi-san. He was my responsibility. Of course, my pain is nothing compared to yours. You were his friends. The truth is, I seem to have had a heavy head ever since I woke this morning. A heavy head? That's interesting. My head's still throbbing too. Was everyone just knocked out? Was there some sort of gas? So this ventilator joins to Miss Pavlova's cabin. Yes, that's right. Just a few moments before he died, Kazuma saw something emerging from it. The speckled band, as he described it. If only Miss Pavlova has been able to shed some light on it, but she seemed as baffled as we are. Yes, I wonder if she's telling us everything, though. Like, the thing that the bell rings kind of seems like that. I'm not sure. I know most people abroad would say the same about me, but there was something about that woman that didn't sit right. So it's clear that these letters were written with the ink that was somehow spilled on the floor, and they spelled the Russian word for wardrobe. It does seem to be an unambiguous pointer to you, Naruto-san, as you were sleeping there. But to be truly unambiguous, it should have just spelled out my name, don't you think? Well, either way, one fact remains. Well, they wouldn't know your name. It's hard to imagine that Kazuma-sama would have written his last words, a word, in Russian. Which begs the question of who did write it. Like, that's such an amateurish thing that I don't think the murderer did it, but like a third person. Or third party, I guess. All the books provided for passengers occupying this cabin, neatly arranged on the shelf. They were all over the place when we first looked around, if you remember. Oh yes, and you tidied them up, didn't you? Yes, that's gonna be an important clue in the trial, I don't know how though. You have to look after the ship's property. Unruly behavior in the cabins leads to damage. But it really wasn't me who knocked them over. Well, anyway, I feel much better now that they're neatly lined up. I can't relax when things are untidy. Do we need to investigate the shoe polish? What's this? Is that the... oh, that is it. It really is such a beautiful color, this glass. It looks like whatever it has broken clean into, but the other half is nowhere to be seen. And then there's this brick-colored mark, which is shoe polish, according to the great detective you seem to know all about. I suppose it must be from Kazuma-sama's shoes. Maybe, but what I'd like to know is, how can the detective be so sure that it's shoe polish and not something else? Because he's a great detective, of course. That's hardly a reason, is it? I guess we should just try to go out then. And try to find the detective. But why didn't the crewman stop us? We were not supposed to go out. 9th January, SS Borea, first class cabin, passageway. Ah! Look, Naruto-san, Seaman Stroganoff is gone. Strong enough? Oh, that's the pun. The burly Russian sailor who was always crossing his arms and glaring at us. Ugh, all these Russian names are impossible to remember. Tra-la-la. Did you hear that? It sounded like someone singing. Tra-la-la-lee-ra-lee-ra-lee. I did it the great detective way. This caroling. I know that log-like voice. Well, never mind that now. This is a golden opportunity for us. Yes, you're right. We must seize it. Let's get inside Miss Pavlova's cabin, but we can investigate. Definitely. Before that stringy knot crewman comes back. It's Stroganoff, not stringy knot. Oh, it's Mr. Sholmes. Look. Wow, you never know where he's going to turn up next, do you? He seems to be stealing a look at something as he sinks himself. Tra-la-lee-ra-lee-ra-lee. I did it the great detective way. He's still singing. Do you think he hasn't noticed us? Or he's simply in extremely high spirits? Yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when the yard bit off more than it could chew. And through it all, when there was doubt, it's lucky her luck was about. Excuse me. I solved it all and iced it all. I did it the great detective way. Mr. Sholmes! Ah! What is it, you want to fight? Amazing. Honestly, interrupting a fellow when he's singing, I was just about to reach the climactic finish. Sorry, I thought you were never going to stop, so I figured now is as good as time as any. I very nearly dropped you to the floor with one of my famous right hooks. Alright, I get the picture. Now could you put those fists away? Amazing. Mr. Sholmes, you seem to be examining something before we interrupted you. Ah, yes, that. I was immersed in study of the ship's log as penned by the stockily built crewman who's usually on guard here. Oh yes, the ship's log. Did you find out anything useful from it? Well, after 2 AM this morning, the majority of the entries are blank, which means that there was nothing to report, nothing of note happened, so... Ha 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 ha. You truly are a student from the land of the rising sun. You've been utterly blinded by it. Ha ha ha. Sorry? Your logic, my boy, is inverted. What do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Observe the other pages and all shall become clear. It would seem the same crewman often stands sentry in the first-class passageway, and he has an almost religious practice of recording nothing to report every half hour. Oh, he writes it in every 30 minutes. Nothing to report. Precisely. Put it simply, the seaman writes nothing to report when there is just that. And yet, the ship's log from last night is largely blank. He didn't even write nothing to report. Do you mean... Yes, there were circumstances afoot last night which led to the seaman being absent from his post. What kind of circumstances? What happened? That remains a mystery for now, but we can be sure something significant took place. So significant that it caused the seaman to forget his regular habit of scribing nothing to report in a log, or the seaman did it, you know. These are important details. I would stake my life on it. You must log the ship's log in your mental file. The ship's log has been entered into court record. Now that deduction was worthy of a great... That is a wrong voice. Ah, you're starting to understand what my way is. I see. What makes Sholmes brilliance. Oh, ouch. What is it? Are you hurt? Oh, don't worry about yourself. I seem to be afflicted with a throbbing head this morning for some reason. Nothing more. Everyone was just some sort of drugged. Well, my friends, until our next encounter. He's still singing to himself. I can hear it as he wanders off down the passageway. Is something wrong, Susato-san? You seem lost in thought. Oh, it's just... Well, I feel the same. Sorry? Ever since I woke this morning, I've had something of a headache. A sort of continuous throbbing. Oh, you too? Yeah, we all were, like, definitely, like, gassed or something. Nothing to report, and then he's showing off. Alright, let's go to Miss Pavlova's cabin. Also, let me put some sugar in my tea. Some good sugar. Don't you just love tea? It's so relaxing. 9th January, SS Borea, first class cabin number 2. Miss Pavlova isn't back yet. Susato-san. Oh, well, she's gone. Oh, the thing is open. Hey, what are you doing? Also, that thing is open. Those are private things. There's not a moment to waste, Naruto-san. We must investigate as quickly as we can. I suppose you're right. For Kazuma's sake. Not just for Kazuma-sama. What do you mean? Also for your sake. It can't be long now until we arrive at port in Hong Kong. I don't want you to be in those handcuffs when we get there. Really? We must solve this case, Naruto-san, by ourselves if we have to. Yes, we will. Alright, examine everything, examine, let's go! Ah yes, they're displayed in his cabin too, look. The SS Borea's rules of passage. Passenger must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. I suppose Miss Pavlova realized that she needed to keep the contents of a case a secret after she read this. A special friend, I mean. I wonder where her friend has disappeared to now. He's probably having fun exploring the ship, I imagine. I just hope Seaman Stroganoff doesn't find it and throw it off overboard. Oh yes, so do I. All the books have toppled over together, look, every single one. Do you think that's a god of the sea, perhaps? He's toppled too, though. It's exactly the same as the bookcase next door, in Kazuma's cabin. Perhaps Miss Pavlova was practicing a difficult ballet pose and fell against the bookcase. I don't know, would she really be practicing ballet on the same night she ran away from a ballet company? It's the ship. There was like, basically like strong sea stuff, so everything knocked over. Alright then, it must have been you. You lost your temper and knocked him over in a fit of rage. Not everything bad that happened on the ship is because of me, you know. Also, you were never in this cabin. Well, anyway, I'll set them all straight against you too. I don't like seeing things in disarray. You're literally messing with the tribes and also telling Miss Pavlova we were in here. Also, I wonder if this, if there's a difference between the books here now and there. Like, if it's the same kind of book, you know what I mean? It would seem this teapot is empty. So the natural conclusion is that the Russians are a very thirsty people. Or, because Miss Pavlova only came into this cabin last night, she hasn't had the chance to make any tea yet. I mean, it could be either. It's definitely that they're excessively thirsty. I'd like 1,000 to 1 on it. You're rather obstinate, aren't you, Naruto-san? I wonder what this little sauce is doing on the floor. Yes, it doesn't look like it's been dropped. More like it was put there deliberately. Ah, do you think that there could be a leak in the roof just above here? What? A leak? Is this ship quite safe? I'm sure that even if there's a little leak in the roof, it doesn't mean the whole ship is going to sink. No, you're right. Of course you're right. She's really trying to persuade herself, isn't she? Oh yeah, she's probably thinking of this movie when there's like a bucket under a leak, and it just drops in there. I suppose every cabin has a waste stepper basket. Shall we have a little look and see what's been thrown away? Naruto-san, it's poor etiquette to go sifting through someone's rubbish, you know? Ugh, those eyes. She's looking at me like I'm a piece of rubbish now. But then again, however, these are special circumstances, I think. Exactly, we have no choice. There's hardly anything in here at all. Oh, well, that's a little disappointing. There are just a few books on the desk, nothing else by the looks of it. Well, Miss Pavlova only ran away from the ballet last night. She's hardly occupied this cabin for any time at all. That's true. I wonder what kind of books she likes to read. Yeah, are these books from the shelf? Let me see. Yes, I see. It would seem that Miss Pavlova enjoys reading Russian. Books written in Russian. I knew it! Thanks, I think I probably already knew that. It's rude to ask too much of people now, Rudo-san. Kindly remember that. Alright, what was in the thing? Oh my, Miss Pavlova's case is open. It's completely empty inside, but according to the great detective's great deduction, she was hiding her special friend in there. Yes, a friend that she had to keep secret, because you're not allowed to bring animals aboard the Esporia. I wonder what kind of animal she had in there. And more to the point, where is it now? This cabin door has the same simple sort of bolted latch that the cabin door has. If the bolt's drawn across, there's no way anybody would enter the cabin from outside. Yes, it's not a particularly heavy-duty bolt, is it? But still, it wouldn't slide across of its own accord, would it? No, and the door is made of metal, so there's no chance of trickery using magnets to unbolt it from the outside. Oh my god, I get it! Basically, it's either Captain or the entire crew who set this murder up, but basically, the ship tilted to the left. That's why everything is on the floor, and the books also have been laid, and how the bolt got to be locked. So basically, the killer just dragged the body in there, closed the door, but didn't lock it, and then the lock locked itself because of virtue of gravity, just. And it seals it perfectly, too, to stop any seawater coming in. So you couldn't use the method you told me of passing a thread through the crack across the closed door, either. I seem to know a lot of tricks for opening doors. I'm starting to see where they suspect me. Ugh, I wish I could just tell them that. That would, like, change the whole story, you know? Change the outcome, change everything. Naruto-san, are you there? Sorry? I'm right here, yes. Why? Oh, good. I thought you might have climbed into the wardrobe when I wasn't looking. There's no place like home. Wow. Believe me, I don't have some strange compulsion to jump inside every wardrobe I see, you know? By the way, did my Discord ping everyone, or is me still broken? Dope pinged. Well, anyway, I'm not sure anyone could fit inside this one. It's full of beautiful outfits. I suppose they're all stage costumes. I was rather hoping we might find Miss Pavlova's friend hiding there, but no such luck. Alright, this is the same one. There's one of these next door to the bed in Cosmo's cabin too. Yes, it's a bell cord. I can't resist. Why are you announcing to everyone that we're in here? She barely hesitated there, and she gave it a good tug too. Tea. No, I didn't actually expect anyone to come. We don't want them to, we're trying to investigate in secret. Alright, this is probably the last thing we can investigate here, huh? So this ventilator connects to Cosmo's cabin next door. Yes, although what a fool a shipbuilder must be to open a ventilator into another room. Ah, maybe. It's so that if there's a gas leak next door, the occupant of this cabin would notice and raise the alarm. Or the occupant of both cabins would die of gas poisoning. That is a possibility. But there's no stove or anything. Oh wait, no, the lamp, yeah. Anyway, last night Cosmo wrote he saw a speckled band coming out of the ventilator. Ding-ding-a-ling-a-ling-ding. Ah, what's that? Why is this a war siren? Shut down the engines immediately. Vessel sighted quarter-mile 4. Full stop. Hard to starboard. All hands brace for impact. What the heck? Are we being entered? What the? I think we're about to crash into another ship. What? I can't stand. Susato-san, hold on to me. What? Are we gonna tilt to the side and see that the bookshelves are like, you know? I think I'm fine. Thank you, Naruto-san. Like all the bookshelves have, yeah, and then we can also probably see that the door is locked. Amazing, I did it. I figured it out. It looks like we avoided a collision. I think. Yes, the ship has come to a stop. Oh my goodness, what about you, Naruto-san? Are you hurt? No, I'm fine. Hello, is anybody in there? Shout if you need assistance. Oh, that sounds like Inspector Hosonaga. Is that you in there, Naruto-san? Unbolt the door, quickly. What? The bolt? Look at that! The door is bolted. Did you do that, Susato-san? No, I didn't touch it. Well, that's strange. Ah, I figured it out before them, though. Well, that's strange. How did... And look at all the books. They're just like they were before again. Naruto-san, aren't you going to open the door and let the inspector in? I'd better tidy this place up first. Amazing, they just revert to the original post so you don't have to investigate everything. A violent emergency stop had solved one mystery at least in a very vivid way, but I knew what the way was on the other side of the cabin door would not be pleasant. I hurried around tidying up the cabin with a new sense of foreboding in my heart. Wait, how are you tidying this up when like you still have the shackles on? Also, this was only 40 minutes. Would this continue? The to be continues really need to be spaced out to get that better. Part 3. Investigation Part 3. Are you kidding me? Amazing. Yes, SS Buria, Miss Pavlova's room. Somehow, the door to the cabin we were in ended up bolted after we made an emergency stop. Susato-san took a deep breath, then gently slid back the bolt. You, what are you doing in Miss Pavlova's quarters? Ah, he knows that it's Miss Pavlova, and not a Russian man. Ah, so you both look unhurt, good. Yes, we're fine, thank you. What on earth happened? We heard something about how we were going to collide with another ship. Yes, it appears to have been a false report, though. Oh, how did it happen? There's this dense fog outside, so it's extremely difficult to see. Someone must have thought he saw a ship ahead. This person obviously triggered the alarm, and that's why we made an emergency stop. Everything is chaos. Passengers are screaming. Trio running anywhere, everywhere. This first-class area is the only quiet part of the ship at the moment. Oh, I see. Someone triggered the alarm? Does that mean that someone pressed that button outside? Ah! You wicked intruder! Dressed all in black, you are the devil! Sorry, me? I've been called a lot of things before, but devil is the first. You opened my traveling case. How could you? No, it was open when you came here. What? No, we didn't touch it. That's right, Miss Pavlova. It was already open when we came into your cabin. Inspector! Yes. Arrest this man. I know he did it. He's a criminal. It is not enough that he has killed a man. Duh, and he is stowaway as well. If Vixen promises not to steal chicken, do you believe? Ugh. Take him away. He's a trespasser as well as everything else. Stowing away, trespassing, killing. She's right, you're a devil. It doesn't look good, does it? There is cell below deck. Throw him in. Tomorrow we dock in Hong Kong. Then we give you straight to police. Wait, a cell? Please, Inspector Hasanaga, is there nothing you can do? This is a Russian vessel. I already have no jurisdiction here. After my last effort to appeal to the captain's good nature, I think I'm out of options. This is terrible. This is a real crisis. I've got to find a solution. Immediately. Move. Let's get out. Oh, I can't. And now we shall be able to leave here. Amazing. I just need to keep calm and focus on the task at hand, which is investigating. Don't touch my things. You want me to show you where crayfish hibernates? Hiya! Why did you... Mr. Naruto, what do you think you're doing? Wow, everyone's attacking me. And I was just starting to think she was my friend. Why did she attack me though? What the heck? Is there anyone who can help me out of this mess? So if I investigate anything, that's gonna happen, I see. Please, just give me a little more time. I do nothing for you, except show you way to ship's prison cell. Thanks, but no thanks. But I'm innocent, I didn't kill anyone. On trespassing and stowing away, well, you know, sometimes life can lead you down some unusual avenues, and well, enough, you are guilty. Ship's cell is the only place fit for you. Come on, there has to be someone, some savior to rescue me from this crisis. Maybe her? Some angel? You've got yourself into the difficult situation here by entering this cabin uninvited, I mean. Sorry, I was just so desperate to find a clue. I'm afraid there's really nothing more I can do to help you. I know that I need to talk to her, but I want to get all the dialogue. If I push my luck any further, a punch to the face will be the least of my worries. I'm really sorry. I have to take responsibility for giving you the freedom to investigate Miss Pavlova's cabin. Now this has happened, I'll have to report to the captain at once. I really need some help here. I need a savior to rescue me from the crisis. Miss Pavlova, can I get out? Listen, I'm sorry that we snuck in here without your permission, but get out now. We just need to investigate in here to help understand what Ugh, it's no use. She's not going to listen. I need to find someone who will. Wait. No. No. No, no, no. What the? What are you doing? Thank you, Sander. Thank you for the follow. Welcome. What are you doing up here? Mr. Shaw, and he has the diadem. Amazing. Naturally, I was analyzing what a weight of 20,000 rubles feels like on one's head. Haven't I told you that as a detective it is my business to know what other people do not? Sir Sondren, how did you find me? I would love to know. This isn't mere tomfoolery, my boy. Oh no, no, no. Well, why were you hanging from that hook over there then? Isn't it obvious? To properly assess the weight of the 20,000 rubles, naturally. I wish to determine that if it would bend that conceited-looking hook on the wall so full of brag and bounce. Ugh, I never know whether to take this man seriously or not. Ah, you again, the great detective. Ah, Inspector, I confess I've been looking for you. I have something to report to you most urgently. Well, you might try looking for me somewhere other than a hook on the wall next time. I'm the dumb guy from the Kraken Academy question only. You're not a dumb guy. You're a guy who simply didn't, who simply didn't occur to, that. Wait, we can't talk about this. Never mind. Nothing. Don't speak of this. What is to report? Speak. An urgent report from the great detective can mean but one thing. Yes, the case of the curious murder that took place last night here on this vessel, the steamship Borea, has been solved by me, naturally. He doesn't. He didn't. He really didn't. And we have to... Like, honestly, I hope he's gonna be the prosecutor, because then it's gonna be an easy win. Really? Yes, I have eliminated all other possibilities. No other explanations exist. So, allow me to illuminate all your minds. For I am about to reveal my great detective's greatly admired great deduction to the case. Oh, another great deduction? Ha, you have solved it. Even Hedgehog understands this case. We all knew who was responsible for killing student boy this morning when we found criminal in wardrobe. It is the stowaway, and he has handcuffs to prove it. I didn't do it. The trouble is, there doesn't appear to be anyone else who could have killed the victim. Because, as everyone knows, the cabin door was bolted shut from the inside. That means the culprit must be someone who was inside the cabin. Yes, it's what's called a locked room mystery in detective stories. Duh, locked room, that is point. The room was locked. Well, I can't deny that. Well, I can by saying, hey, it was locked afterwards because of the ship tilting. There's no way the bolt could have been drawn across from outside the cabin. You are all quite mistaken. The cabin next door is not a so-called locked room at all. What? Oh yes, there is another entrance. What? An entrance used last night by the culprit in order to gain access to the cabin despite the bolted door. What other entrance? We never discovered one. Is he gonna say a wardrobe? Why, it gapes open-mouthed at you even as we speak. The ventilator, man. The ventilator. Gah. You think this is funny? I cannot even put my arm through that hole. That's because your arm are as thick as tree trunks. You're suggesting that the culprit entered and left the victim's cabin through the tiny opening. It's not possible. Ah, but it is. And last night, the victim even witnessed the intruder in the act of passing through the ventilator. Mr. Sholmes, do you mean... Are you referring to the words Kazuma-sama wrote in his diary? 1:23 a.m. I can hear a faint whistling sound. 1:35 a.m. What looks like some sort of speckled band is dangling from the ventilator grill. Precisely, my dear madam. But what does it mean? What is the speckled band? The answer to that particular conundrum is in this very cabin. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? There is a distinct element of danger, but fear not, I am ready. What I am about to expose for you all to see will shock you to your course. Behold! Kia! Hiya! What the? It is a snake, I knew it. Stroganoff. Allow me to introduce you all to the band. The speckled band. A snake? Indubitably. Mr. Sholmes, just one thing. Pray, what troubles you? Well, that snake, isn't it really speckled, is it? It looks more stripy, wouldn't you say? Yes, you're right. I think in this case you'd have to call it the stripe band, wouldn't you? Also, he has a snake around his head. Can somebody put that off? Ha 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 ha. You both see and observe with distinction, however. Do you not think that is precisely the trap into which the culprit wishes you to fall? Oh my goodness, really? It's a trap? No. How exactly... I think perhaps it is time to explain the intricacies of my train of thought. Are you ready, Miss Pavlova? I'm sorry for the young man who died, but that is all. His death has nothing to do with me. This whole thing has nothing to do with me. There are two conclusions I've drawn from the facts. Number one. Last night, your friend infiltrated the victim's cabin. Ah. And number two. That same friend was responsible for the victim losing his life. No. She stared as wide... She turned as white as a bowl of rice. Shums must be right. He's hit the nail on the head. This young woman's friend killed Mr. Asogi. Stroganoff. It looks like he can't speak with that snake coiled around his head. That's good. I would advise as little movement as possible, Seaman. You wouldn't want the fangs of that long friend in your neck. So everyone, let us begin. Sherlock Holmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning is spectacular. Great deduction. The game is afoot. Topic 1. Intruder's identity. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. His death is nothing to do with me. This whole thing is nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. Yes, when you recall this horrid event, your aching heart smarts with pain. And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's death. So we ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that portentous night? Why, naturally, it was the friend with which he boarded this vessel, was it not? Ah, as I suspected, another telltale glance. Without doubt, your friend is the rising serpent we see before us. And yet, that fact leaves us in quandary. The victim's written observations on the night in question tell of a speckled band. I think it's the crewmen, honestly, because, like, basically, my theory is, sorry, I just got the message. What was it called? I think, like, somebody must have helped her get away from Russia, plus, the seaman also called her Miss Pavlova, so he knew of her identity. So I think the seaman is in on this. Whereas, regrettably, this specimen's marking do not fit the description in any way. What explanation can we give then, pray? What was this sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? Wait, what did you just put there? No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this. Oh, but it does. You have the answer to this quandary even now, hidden behind your back. Yes, that which you are trying but failing to conceal, but only be the snake's slouched skin. Evidently after the subtle and horrible crime, this most deadly friend of yours. Shed its original skin, no? I don't know what you're talking about. Last night, through the ventilator visible in this cabin, your then speckled friend slithered next door. Using the bell cord on the other side as the bridge, the serpent silently descended into the victim's quarters. In the dim light, it appeared to the young gentleman who was about to lose his life as a speckled band. In summary, the nature of this friend of yours, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a rare breed of snake whose markings change each time it sloughs its skin. A snake so dreadful we can only imagine could be found in the deepest depths of India. A beloved speckled snake. Yeah, that's not it. Topic 2. How Mr. Asogi died. Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter, the grim demise of the victim. How did the young man lose his life, and why? According to the data of which I have been apprised, it would appear there were no visible signs of injury. So the interesting is like this exclamation mark versus question mark. So the question marks is things he got wrong. This is the exclamation mark on things he got right. That's the question, you know? Ah. In fact. Oh wait. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom. Yeah, no, it's not. Now, if we take that as a fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime. Oh no, could there be? Yes, an examination of the deceased's body will prove the cause of death consecutive. It already happened, bro. We did that. It's not poison. The almost, but not quite, imperceptible puncture wounds left by venomous fangs will seal the truth. Yes, the vestige of a snake bite delivered by your terrifying friend. This makes no sense. Yeah, it doesn't. Don't worry, we're used to it. There is no point feigning ignorance, Miss Pavlova. After the incident, you endeavored to hide everything, didn't you? But now your involuntarily glance betrays the hiding place you chose. But it's open. That's right, you hid the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that travel case. It's literally an open one, we don't see anything. When we first met in this cabin, it came to my attention that the case moved periodically. Your serpent assassin was restless inside, no doubt. You don't... It is telling that the victim made note of a low whistling sound that you heard minutes before his end. That was your signal, was it not? The sound you had used to train your serpent friend. To train? Indeed, you'd put the serpent through this ventilator and wait. After a period, you'd summon it back with this whistle. You couldn't know if the animal had done its duty, so you would listen for signs of life next door. If the victim appeared not to have been dispatched, you'd release the snake once more. But the whistle appeared before he died, not after, so that's not no. During the night, the snake is undergone such training. It's not true. Having slithered through the ventilator and down the bell cord, the creature needed only to sink its fangs in once. And its venom would course through the victim's veins, ending his existence forever. That is the true nature of the speckled band that took the poor young man's life. There can be no doubt. My logic is infallible. Yeah, I don't know about that one, Chief. Death by a venomous snake bite. Yeah, this is both wrong. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of the speckled band. Ah, tea is so good. I love tea. Miss Pavlova has trained her pet snake as a killing machine. There on the floor you will observe a saucer of milk. The promise of food is the key to training any creature. Incredible! You've solved the mystery. Amazing! Your great deduction really lives up to its nature. I see now why Herlock Sholmes has become such a household name. Like, we should just, like, accept this because it like, puts it off of us. Like, this basically makes her the criminal, not us, so that's good, but it's also not the truth, I believe. My dear man, it was nothing remarkable. As the Russians say, I could have done it with one left hand. Could I venture an opinion, Mr. Sholmes? But of course, what's on your mind? It's just, about your deductions before, some things don't quite make sense to me. Now you question him. Oh, she really hates us. She just really hates us. I welcome questions as to my method, and I will answer both loudly and proudly. Oh, well, good. First of all... Just wrote everything down. Snakes are egg-laying creatures, part of the reptile family. You are well informed, madam. And reptiles, don't drink milk. Ah. It's really only mammals that like to drink milk, you see. So, I'm not sure it would be possible to train a snake using milk as a reward. No matter. No doubt Miss Pavlova used some other treat to encourage her pet to do the bidding. Milk was merely an example. The logic holds. Well, there's something else. Snakes have no ears. Wait, they can't actually hear anything? That's something I actually didn't know about. Yes, so I'm not sure it would be really possible to signal a snake by whistling. But madam, what of the tales from Arabia? Have you not heard of the snakes that dance to the sounds of a flute? I think perhaps the performers play the music in time with the snake's natural movements. Oh, I see. No hands, no feet, no ears! These creatures are so inept as to be practically useless. Don't take it out on snakes, Mr. Sholmes. There is one other thing. You have more? Snakes use the scales on the bellies to propel themselves. So, I'm not really sure that a snake could manage to climb a flat bellcord like the ones in these cabins. Then it should try hard. Just pull it up by the bootstraps, am I right? Please don't be angry with me, Mr. Sholmes. The point is, even if the snake had gone through the ventilator next to the cabin, it couldn't have come back without help. What I'm trying to say... Ooh, you're putting a hole in his deductions methods. Is that there are a number of reasons why it's difficult to imagine the snake could have been a part of this. I also don't think we've met the murderer yet, honestly, because there's nobody as, I would say, flamboyant or extravagant, that they could have reasonably been the perpetrator. Like, Ace Attorney villains are always, like, flashy, you know? Although, not always, I guess. But I still don't think it's any of the ones we've met so far. I need to step in and help again, Mr. Naruto. Oh no, you don't mean... Yeah, we have to... we have to basically deconfirm our own innocence. Because now we basically have confirmed that we're innocent if it's somebody else, but now we just have to deconfirm it. This is suicide. Yes, we need to modify Mr. Sholmes' latest instructions and turn them into the great ones they ought to be. I had a feeling that was coming. Alright, let's give it a try. Just what I was waiting for, Mr. Naruto. Yes, right. So, cast your eyes down to your wrists again. What? He's really good with these. You've done it again. The handcuffs are gone. Where did they go? Fear not, I shall see they're restored after the work is done. Of course you will. I really wish you'd leave them off. Now, everyone, let us begin. Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present. His logic and reasoning is spectacular. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes. A beloved speckled snake. Miss Pavlova, moments ago you claimed the following. His death has nothing to do with me. The whole thing has nothing to do with me. Yet you cannot deceive yourself. Yes, when you recall those horrid events, your aching heart smarts with pain. So it's not the aching heart. She does have a pained expression on her face. Yes, that's true. She looks as though Cosmosum's death is weighing all heavily on her mind. But you're not sure Mr. Sholmes has read her quite correctly. Is that it? Could there be some other way to interpret her expression then? Let's take a moment and really look very closely at Miss Pavlova. I wonder if she has, like, bite. Yeah, her snake bit her. Claw scratch.
Yes!
Yes, when you recall those horrid events, the claw stretch smarts with pain. Indeed, and simple observation reveals that the wound is fresh. Miss Pavlova, did you in fact receive that scratch sometime last night? When I think about the young man who died next door, I feel so sad. And when I'm sad, the pain from this wound is worse. But you got it before that day. And it is that very pain that evidences your inextricable link to the victim's fate. What? To the victim's death? Never mind. So you ask, what was the nature of this intruder that stole into the victim's cabin on that portentous night? Why, naturally, it was the friend with which he boarded this vessel, was it not? Ah, as I suspected, another telltale glance. Yeah, but it's the dude, the seaman. Without doubt, your friend is the writhing serpent we see before us. It seems likely that the stretch mark on the back of Miss Pavlova's hand was made by this friend of hers, doesn't it? Except, snakes don't have claws, do they? No, they don't. They don't even have hands or feet on which claws might grow. Well then, if the snake isn't her pet, what is it? What's the true identity of this friend of hers? You should follow her gaze, Naruto-san. That's where we'll find the answer. I wonder if it's like just the seaman Stroganoff. Oh, there's a photo frame actually. Yes! We can't really mess up, can we? Seaman Stroganoff. Never mind, we can't. Forget about how you could have brought him aboard in your case, or how he could fit in through the ventilator. A true friend always finds a way for you. And what more dependable friend could you ask for than Seaman Beef Stroganoff? That's actually... What spectacular contrived logic led you to this mindless conclusion? Well, calling my conclusion mindless. Oh well, it's supposed to be a logic and reasoning spectacular, so I thought I'd contribute to the show. This is my show, Mr. Naruto. Kindly perform any peculiar experiments on your own stage. Ugh, sorry. Ooh, we lost one. Yeah, so then it's the picture. We can be reasonably sure it was aimed at her friend. And that same friend is probably responsible for the scratch. Well, we can't skip this. There's another way. This friend must be small enough to pass through the ventilator. But really ought to narrow it down. Let me scout around in the direction she looked. So what's this in the frame here? Wait, is this over or so bad? You were looking over at this framed photographic print, weren't you, Miss Pavlova? But let's not be distracted by the print itself. Oh no, it's the frame that is your friend, isn't it? Because it's so beautiful. I am losing this bet. I'm losing it. Teapot. Seaman Stroganoff. Writhing serpent. Is it a teapot?
Yes!
No, I'm gonna lose. Yes, I know what you're thinking. What is this man talking about? Well, I'll tell you what I'm talking about. The truth. Yes, who would have done a more cozy relationship with than a shiny teep? Alright, this isn't me. This is really me. That precisely was your intention with that, Mr. Naruto? Yeah, I don't know about that one, Chief. I don't know. Just following the natural progression of the deduction. Sometimes the truth hurts. Well, the truth is, you don't have to turn for observation of the deduction. Or did that hurt? Yes, a lot. We can be reasonably sure that Miss Pavlova's furtive glance was aimed at her friend. And that same friend was responsible for the scratch on the back of her hand. also know that whatever it is, yeah, okay, we had this too. So, was it really just the serpent? So we had Seaman Stroganoff, right? We had the writhing serpent. We had Seaman Stroganoff. We had the photograph frame. It must be the serpent.
Yes!
But it can't be. Yeah, like, what the heck? I'm stuck! With its deadly venom, the snake must be tricky, a creature to befriend. But as a ballet dancer, you can't resist its graceful movement. Yes, you hope to learn the secrets of its slithery ways and add a serpentine slant to your performances. But she wanted to drop the entire thing, dude. You're quite concentrating. You've identified what it did originally. Oh, yes, so I have. Sorry. Amazing. Well, I do understand. As infallible as I am, people do like to try. But you won't make a great detective like that, nor even a great detective's assistant. An assistant, then? An assistant's assistant, then? Alright, I'll think again. What is it, then? What's the true identity of a friend? There is literally... So, we had Seaman Stroganoff. Writhing Serpent. We have the photograph, the teapot. What the heck? Like, I thought maybe we'd have to... Like, this is all we can do. Seaman Stroganoff, Seaman Stroganoff, Seaman Stroganoff, Seaman Stroganoff, Seaman Stroganoff, Seaman Stroganoff. Writhing Serpent. These clothing hangers, no. The window? Huh? Chad, I need help. I might actually just game over here, what the heck? Seaman Stroganoff. So... Present Writhing Serpent. Present Teapot. Present photograph frame. The belt buckle? I can control with the VSD, so I'm gonna do that now to maybe... Alright, let's just do it like this. Seaman Stroganoff, no. Seaman Stroganoff, no. Seaman Stroganoff, teapot, photograph frame. Photograph frame, teapot, Seaman Stroganoff. Seaman Stroganoff. Seaman Stroganoff. It must be something we see from the behind, but there is nothing new we see from the behind. Writhing Serpent. Or is there? Maybe these hooks? Something above there? Writhing a serpent, Seaman Stroganoff. Is something on Seaman Stroganoff? Is there's also nothing in the bull eye? What the heck? There's nothing on the carpet, right? Breathing serpent. What? I can't go further right. I can't go to the left. This is like all the things that I have. There's nothing I can present over here. There's also nothing I can present over here. Breathing serpent, semen stroganoff. Teapot. I already had the teapot. Photograph frame, teapot. Semen stroganoff, breathing serpent. Photograph frame, teapot. What? Do we need to look up a solution for this shot? I think we have to. Part 3. Rotate the camera and examine the photo on the table. Present. What? We can press A to investigate something, even if it doesn't pop up as a prompt. Like, we don't know that we can press A to investigate something, but we can press A to investigate something. Look at the photograph in this frame. This must be something Miss Pavlova wrote with her when she ran away. She's exceptionally beautiful, isn't she? Yes, that's true. But personally, is the little black creature she's holding that's caught my eye. Maybe we'd better take a closer look at this. Little kitten.
Yes.
Without doubt, your friend is the little kitten we see before us. Yes, the scratch on the back of your hand makes the bundle clear. Oh no. The whereabouts of this black kitten isn't clear, but what is clear is that you brought the animal with you when you ran away, didn't you? Ah! Darka is my best friend. I couldn't leave her behind. Darka would appear to be a Russian blue. And yet, that fact leaves us in a quandary. So, who is the snake? This is just a random snake? The victim's written observation on the night in question tell of a speckled band, whereas regrettably, this specimen's marking do not fit that prescription in any way. What explanation can we give then? Pray? What was the sight that fell upon the victim's eyes last night? No, don't look at me. This has nothing to do with any of this. Oh, but it does. You have to answer to this quandary, even now, hidden behind your back. Yes, that which you're trying but failing to conceal can only be the snake's slouched skin. Yeah, but it can't be because it's, you know, it doesn't matter about the cat. She just took something out of her pocket and hid behind her back. Why did you put her out of the pocket? If she just left in the pocket, no one would ever have known. Exactly. Oh yes, ploys like that are Mr. Sholmes' specialty. He's ever so cleverly forced her to reveal something. Yeah, like, this is just dumb part on her. I thought deduction was a specialty, or maybe making me believe that was a ploy too. Anyway, I find it hard to believe that that's the skin of a snake. In which case, just what is Miss Pavlova hiding behind her back? Well, we could just turn and rotate, can't we? Ooh, what's that? That is a... something. Well, it's speckled, and it is a band, but... what is it? It seems to be soft and fluffy. A long piece of cloth of some sort, and that's like, that looks like a handle at one end. I think it might be a cat's toy. The sort is common in the West, apparently. How is that a toy for cats? Cats like to chase the band around and paw at it. Kittens in particular love that sort of play. You'll need to wave it in front of them, and they pounce to catch it. Haha, that sounds positively adorable. Cat's toy.
Yes!
We can't allow to get any more penalties now. Yes, the thing you're trying, but failing, to conceal is a cat's toy. Precisely, in the true nature of the now infamous speckled band. Ah, and it was this toy that you dangled through the ventilator. You waved it around, I presume naturally the victim could not fail to notice it. But why? For what reason? My dear boy, there can only be one answer to that. After her feline friend had disappeared through the ventilator into the neighboring cabin, Miss Pavlova attempted to use the speckled cat's toy to incite the creature to return. Ah. In summary, the nature of this friend of Miss Pavlova's, which last night infiltrated the scene of the crime, is a blithesome Russian blue breed of cat by the name of Darka. Yeah! A truly troublesome feline young Darka is proving to be. She must be caged once found. You will forgive us for borrowing the photograph of your pet, Miss Pavlova. The photograph of Miss Pavlova and Darka has been entered into court record. Ooh, let me see the backside, because with photographs like that, there's always the backside. It was after I gave her food last night. Really? I can't turn it around? That's disappointing. That's when it happened. She scratched the back of my hand. I wanted to do a Russian accent, but it was just a back valley accent. Amazing. She scratches the back of my hand and then ran up the cord. Before I could do anything, she had disappeared through the ventilator. Darka, she's so naughty. A beloved kitten. How Mr. Sogi died. Death by a venomous snakebite. No, because there was no venom, and the snake also was not there. Moving on, we come to the heart of the matter. The grim demise of the victim. How did this young man lose his life, and why? According to the data of which I have been appraised, it would appear that there were no visible signs of injury. Ah. In fact, the circumstances of the victim's death can only be explained by a terrible venom. What Mr. Shom says is true. There were no signs of a wound anywhere in Kazuma-sama's body. That's right, but Mr. Shom seems to be unaware of one very important detail. Kazuma wasn't poisoned. Yes, it would seem so. Let's give him the information he's missing now.
Yes!
In fact, the circumstance of the victim's death can only be explained by the post-mortem report. Ah yes, I knew it was one or the other. It's like completely different. His neck was... Indeed, the breaking of the cervical vertebra is fatal. Only that Goliath would be strong enough to survive that. Seeming strong enough isn't some mortal freak, you know. The jury's out. Anyway, we have on good authority that the victim's neck was broken. Now, if we take that as fact, we can reasonably imagine that there remains evidence to affirm it at the scene of the crime. Oh no, could there be? Yes, an examination of the deceased's body will prove the cause of death conclusively. No, because there was no injuries, alright? In other words, he was probably struck by something, or someone. Yes, that's a distinct possibility. As of yet, no weapon has been found, though. Presumably, Daka didn't silently creep up behind Kazum and dealt him with a fatal blow. I suppose it's possible that he had a fall and hit the ground awkwardly. It would have been a terrible act of misfortune that he broke his neck completely by accident. Oh yes, a bad fall could explain it. It's rather hard to believe of Kazuma-sama, though. He wasn't a clumsy man. Well, we need to fix the seduction some. He indeed was. It was an accident. He fell because of the ship has shifted, I think, and the crewman tried to dress it up as a murder and accuse us, so they aren't at fault, and that's it all. Well, we need to fix the seduction some. Is there anything from the scene that could explain what happened? Can I save? I think I will mess this up. So this is not it. This is not it, probably. Wait, could this be that is the bell? Yes, that is her bell. Is this also the post-mortem report? Either this?
Yes!
Okay, good, it was this. Mark on the floor. Whew. Yes, an examination of the mark on the floor will prove the cause. This particular mark is prominently visible next to the victim's body as a deposit of shoe polish. Shoe polish? Indeed. Positively identified by a little analysis device and constructor, which I carry now as a matter of course. Beeswax, tallow, and dye were results, the undeniable ingredients of shoe polish. And the color of the shoe polish is a perfect match to the color of Mr. Asogi's laced leather shoes. Looking at this mark, it's not hard to imagine what happened. For some reason, Mr. Asogi must have been caught his foot at that point on the floor and tripped. Please, no. And, by a dreadful tone of misfortune, caught his neck against some immovable object as he fell on the floor. Suffering a fatal blow to the spine, the victim's vertebra shattered. In an instant, he lost his life. No! But what did he get caught up on then? I don't know. I don't know anything about this. Is that really true, Miss Pavlova? She wrote the message on the floor. What about the evidence left at the scene where Mr. Asogi lost his life? Yes, the facts are as clear as day to me. You did all you could to conceal the incriminating evidence. But now your involuntary glance betrays the hiding place you chose. That's right, you hid the evidence links to your victim's death in the traveling case. No, it's gonna be the other part of the broken bell, probably on the desk. I don't believe it. Kazuma-sama merely tripped over and now he's no more? It can't be true. I refuse to accept it. I know it's hard to believe, but the mark on the floor does seem to suggest that's what happened. And if this part of Mr. Shum's deduction is right, Mr. Pavlova is trying to hide some evidence that would prove it. Here in this cabin, somewhere in the direction that she just cast her eyes. Where, I wonder? Let's have a good look around. But the answer must be somewhere right here. Oh yeah, the waste paper basket, of course. We need to investigate that. This is a waste paper basket. Perhaps all the first-class cabins have them. But Miss Pavlova only started occupying this cabin late last night. Presumably there's not much rubbish in there yet. Except the other part of the bell. Oh, what's that? It's a broken piece of glass, isn't it? Yes, it is. And I feel like I've seen it somewhere before. If it looks familiar, perhaps it's more than your mind simply playing tricks on you. Can I just present... Okay, I can present that. Waste paper basket. Let's go! That's right. You hit the evidence that links you to the victim's death in that waste paper basket. Ah. Here we have a fragment of some intricate glass object, it would seem. One that has a familiar air, in fact. Precisely, we found another piece of broken glass on the floor in Mr. Suvi's cabin. And as you can see, the two pieces fit together perfectly. Oh no. So, Miss Pavlova, shall we consider what this tells us? Why would it be that part of this glass object, which was evidently broken at the scene of the victim's death, should be found in the waste paper basket in your cabin? Kya! You're well acquainted with this glass bell, are you not? I don't know, and that hushed Russian accent of yours won't save you this time, dear girl. Why? Because we have conclusive evidence linking you to the bell in question. What? Take it away, Mr. Naruto. Yes, the evidence linking Miss Pavlova and the little glass bell, that would be... Oh yeah, but yeah, just this, I guess.
Yes!
Oh no, was this wrong? Never mind, it was right. If you look at this photograph, you can clearly see, hanging from darkest color, the very glass bell in question. The truth has caught up with you, Miss Pavlova. The young man who lost his life last night did so after a truly inauspicious fall. And the cause of that fateful stumble... your absent feline friend, Darka. So who does the snake belong to again? I couldn't tell anyone. I'm sorry. Death by tripping over a catch. That's so funny. Elementary. Do we get our points back, please? Like our health bar, I guess. Why don't you tell us now, Miss Pavlova? Tell us exactly what happened last night. It was a little after 1 in the morning. It was so late, but I hadn't had time to feed Darka, so I gave her some food. And then, all of a sudden, she scratched me and jumped out of my hands. People do say that cats become very anxious and nervous in new environments. She was so fast, she disappeared through the vent later before I could stop. And that is how you acquired the rather nasty wound on the back of your hand, I take it? Yes, and I had read the, rules on the wall. I knew that I was not allowed Darka with me. Yes, modern science suggests that animals can carry infectious diseases. It's a precaution, really. So I listened and listened, trying to hear if there was some noise in the next cabin. It was very quiet. I was sure if someone was there, he must be sleeping. So that at that point, you have thought it was safe to lure the kitten back again. By dangling the end of the toy through the ventilator and into the adjoining cabin. Darka always loves this toy, but it didn't work. Nothing worked. I tried using her favorite toy. I tried whistling to her softly, but nothing. She didn't return. Ooh, she tried the whistling before that. That explains that. So the faint whistling Kazuma wrote about in his diary was Miss Pavlova trying to retrieve her pet. But then he must have seen the cat, doesn't he? Cats have propensity to remain hidden in the shadows when frightened. Yes, so there was nothing else I could do. I just had to wait until she had calmed down. But then... Meow! Thud. That's actually funny. I nearly passed out with shock. I heard her cry out and then... Oh, it was such a dreadful bang. Then afterwards, nothing. It was totally silent. Kazuma was... From the appearance of the brown mark on the floor, it seems likely that what you heard was the victim stepping on the glass bell and tripping up. Oh, that's what happened. The SS Bury is a large vessel, but even she can pitch and roll violently without warning. If Mr. Sogi was already off balance as a result of the ship lurching with the kitten cut under his feet, the combination of unfortunate factors could easily have caused him to fall over. It could really just be death, huh? But what became of the kitten afterwards? In the end, I managed to get her to come back through the ventilator. I think that's a lie. I think she went in there. Yet Darka is nowhere to be seen. I must have forgotten to lock my case, and now she's disappeared again. Gracious, that cat is as insufferable restless as I am. Yes, for once you speak truth, Herlock. Oh, what did he say? Let me just... Well, he knows something about... Naruto, two idiots, one thought, is all I can say. When I woke up this morning, I heard that a young man in the cabin next to mine has died. Oops, that was wrong. But I couldn't bring myself to tell anyone what had happened. I was too scared. Scared that he would send me back. Oh, hold on a minute. What about the snake? You're right! Where is it? If the snake isn't your friend, Miss Pavlova, then whose is it anyway? And where did it come from? What on earth is such a dangerous creature doing on board of the ship? He's petting him. Oh, I didn't say. Snake is my friend. His name is Pirotsko. Huh? What? What? And you just stood silent the entire time? That's hilarious. The snake belongs to you? He escaped from cage when emergency alarm sounded. I was looking for him. I did not expect to find him in here. Yes, how did the snake get into this cabin? Snake? Snake? Snake! Robin, I love you. That's a 10-10 reference, gotta say. Also, I need to do something that I, didn't do for the longest time. But animals are not permitted on board. Ha! We are at sea for 1 year. You want me to be so long without close friend, without someone who understands? Couldn't you find someone a little more human, who understands you better? No, snake perfect understand me. But my dear burly fellow, how are you doing, Robin? Also, I really need your English accent for Sholmes, because he's an Englishman, right? But the best I can do is a bad Scottish accent. Like, look at the hear this, behold, a gargantuan venomous snake. Surely you can appreciate the danger you're putting everyone in. No venom. Pirotsko does not have venom. He is harmless, very long but very gentle. He is adorable, like Rennie. It's venomless. Yes, now he's hungry, so he's in bed. Now that I tried to do an English accent, my Russian accent just went overboard. Now he's hungry, so he is in bad mood. But once I feed him, he will see big smile. And you feed him what? Milk, I suppose? Ha! Like they say, they milk chickens. Ridiculous. Snakes that drink milk are only stupid stories. Pironska eats mouses. Big, fat, round mouses. Ah, oh, so... is that what the mousetrap in the passageway out there is for? Of course. How else can I catch my friend's favorite food? Nothing says top of the food chain like the look in their eyes right now. Amazing. He catches He catches a mice for a snake because the snake can catch a mice. That's amazing. It refuses to drink milk. It can't hear a whistle, it can't climb a bell cord, and it's not even venomous. How the deuce did something so napped land a starring role? It's not my fault. I do not make up stories. My pirosco is nothing to do with this incident. So that's what happened. That's the truth behind my best friend's tragic death. Wait, did we just clear everything up now? I don't think we cleared everything up now. Or did we? Is this over already? Is there only investigation or trial? Because we solved it during the investigation. That's actually like a new style that we haven't seen in Ace Attorney before that, so that would shock me. But yeah, Robin, how are you doing? Are you drinking tea? Because I have nice tea. Miss Pavlova. Ding! I understand the difficult situation you found yourself in, and I do sympathize. But no, we haven't solved everything yet, because, we don't know... Yeah, we don't know the, who wrote the message in Russian. But please remember this. A young man lost his life. If you're going to attempt to cover up your guilt with lies, then no matter what the circumstances, I cannot forgive you. But what are you talking about, Miss Mukotova? What lies? Miss Pavlova just confessed everything. It was just a series of unfortunate events, an accident. Is it though? I'm no great detective like Mr. Sholmes. I don't have a gift for knowing the truth. But even I can see that was not the truth. Oh shit, she about to go rampant, jeez. Don't you agree, Mr. Naruto? To be perfectly honest, yes. There's a discrepancy in Miss Petlova's story, I'm sure of it. I just can't quite put my finger on it. Donk, donk, donk. I confess, I wasn't intending to let Scotland Yard deal with any outstanding issues with this matter. Oh. I am only present here for a very specific reason. The truth is, you, Mr. Naruto, are simply a distraction. A distraction? I do hope you've not been finding your shackles too uncomfortable. Ah, not again. When did you do that? Especially as they're on your wrists as a result of my intervention. I was rather hoping I could resolve matters before we made our next port call. You were Mr. Sholmes? Yes, but I overlooked one important detail. The deceased young man was a very close companion of yours, was he not? What are you aiming at? Yes. Kazuma was my closest friend. I owed him my freedom, even. Oh no. In that case, we must follow this to its conclusion. No further distractions. You must uncover the real truth here, Mr. Naruto. Yes, whatever that may be. The key to this is the discrepancy in Miss Pavlova's story, I'm sure. If I can chase that down, maybe the truth will become clear. Kazuma! The truth about how you really died. About how that scene in your cabin really came to be. Alright, I'll see what I can do. Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Naruto. So then, shall we begin? Yes! What we should ponder first is the victim who lost his life in a cabin that was bolted shut from the inside. Was this truly an unfortunate accident, or was it in fact no accident at all? That is what we must establish in the first instance. But we've already established it, haven't we? The man tripped over the kitten that had climbed into this cabin via the ventilator. Tragic, yes, but still an accident. Wait, let's just take a step back. It doesn't make sense if that's really what happened, does it? I'm going to have to ask you to spell it out for me, I'm afraid. Yes, it's starting to take shape now. There's a clear contradiction between the facts and Miss Pavlova's story here. The evidence is right there in Kazuma's cabin. It's undeniable. His death couldn't possibly have been a mere accident. Yes, because of the framing afterwards. Really? Let us show our hand, Mr. Naruto. Time to present the evidence. The evidence that proves unequivocally that the victim's death was no mere accident.
Yes!
The truth is clearly recorded in this photographic print. There is no way that Mr. Sogi could have left this message on the floor. That script, it's Russian, isn't it? Indeed it is. The word written means wardrobe. I see what you mean. Most people would leave a dying message in their native language, Japanese in this case. But maybe he was studying Russian. It is a simple language. He could have... Russian is a simple language. Yeah, I don't think so, bro. That doesn't seem likely. That's actually not the point. It makes no difference whether he knew Russian or not. Sorry? What do you mean? The death was instant, and he couldn't have made this in his last moments, right? Exactly what I said before. There is no way that Mr. Sogi could have left this message on the floor, and the reason why is clearly explained in here. Damage to the cervical vertebra, resulting in instant death. Instant death. Ace Attorney really loves its instant deaths. Which means, after the victim fell to the floor, he couldn't possibly have written anything, because he was already dead. That's not the only reason either. There's something else we found in Mr. Sogi's cabin. A remnant of something that couldn't possibly have been there if what Miss Pavlova told us were true. What? So, Susato-san has noticed it too then. The bell. Right? Putting this message on the floor aside, there's something else that gives the truth away. Another piece of evidence that proves this was no accident. In other words, a remnant of something. The thing?
Yes!
Yes. This piece of broken glass next to the mark on the floor. But that's the glass bell the kitten had around its neck. We already know all about that. It was broken in half when the victim tripped over the cat and fell. So we already have a satisfactory explanation. Where's the flaw in that logic? Because both glasses had to be there, and one is in this room, so somebody took it. Unfortunately, there is a very big flaw, a fatal flaw. What? If that's really what happened, then how did one half of the bell end up back here in this cabin? Ah. Yes, remember that we found the other half of the glass bell in a waste paper basket. Would you care to explain that, Mrs. Pavlova? Oh no. Both these pieces of evidence clearly point to the same conclusion. That when Mr. Sogi died last night in his cabin, there was someone else in the room. And that same person deliberately arranged the scene to disguise the truth, in order to cover up his or her own guilt. Kia! Yes, there was someone else present in Mr. Sogi's... You're wasting time. Someone else was there? Duh, of course, we know this. What are you talking about? Bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. There was no way in or out. Oh, yes. No, we also proved that wrong, because the ship has moved. And only one other person in the cabin when young student died was you. It's true, I was in the cabin when it happened. You were shut inside the cabin wardrobe to be precise about the details. But I don't know Russian. There's no way I could have left that message. Not would have. There is no way he could have left a message, to be precise about the details. Would you mind? Forgive me, my dear fellow. As I was saying, the person in question wrote the word wardrobe in Russian on the floor, in an attempt to incriminate me for the crime, even though I had been asleep in there that entire time. And then, the same person picked up the broken glass bell that had fallen to the floor, for fear of it becoming evidence that would show how Mr. Stogie really died. But why wouldn't this person have taken all the pieces of the bell away? Leaving half behind was always going to raise questions. Yes, well, that's actually a good question. It was past 1 o'clock in the early hours of the morning. The cabin would have been quite dark. The single small lamp suspended from the ceiling would barely have cast any light onto the floor there. Little wonder then that the culprit failed to notice a fragment of the tiny item. Well, but wouldn't she notice the second fragment? You all suspect me, don't you? Hold it. Seaman Stroganoff. Nina is a woman of sea. She is daughter of strong sailor. 2 years ago, they noticed her dancing skills and she went away to join ballet company. But before, she was dancer on the ship, a member of ship's band. You do not accuse Ship's Angel of being criminal. Ah, so that's it. You say that when young student died, Nina was there in his cabin. But that is not possible. I give my tooth. Yeah, because of the lock, but you can see that the lock does not have anything in it. Well, this is almost interesting. And why would you give your tooth, pray? How can you be so sure? You're a great detective. You should know. Lock, truth, and ice. Cabin bulkhead was bolted shut from inside. Nobody could go into cabin. Not Nina, not anyone. Or you want to tell me that killer can walk through locked doors? Niet, it's impossible. Ugh, he's right. But wait, I've read about this in detective stories. People often tie a thread around door latches so they can open and close them from the outside. Thread? Are you stupid? These bulkheads are not barn doors. Certainly not. These are watertight doors, as one would expect to find on any modern steamship. Constructed of heavy steel with not a gap inside. No threads or needles or magnets could have been used. No, of course not. I thought so too. But Mr. Naruto suggested it earlier, so... Sato-san, how could you shift it onto me like that? So, Seaman Stroganoff has a valid point. The cabin door couldn't have been bolted shut from the outside. Not necessarily. What? I put it to you that I could bolt this cabin door without laying a finger on it. And in this very cabin, we can see the traces of the method I had in mind have been used before. I don't believe it. Yes, the books. Well, Mr. Naruto, I believe you know what I mean, don't you? A way to shut the bolt of the cabin door from the outside. One way does spring to mind, yes. Do you really know what Mr. Sholmes means, Mr. Naruto? Yes, and so should you. Because we've seen it happen. Indeed we have. So would you care to do the honors, Mr. Naruto? Point out the telling signs of the method that was used to slide the cabin door bolts open from the outside. Let's just point the books. Look at the bookcase there. See how all the books and things on it have toppled over. That must have happened when the ship made its emergency stop before. Yes, that's right. It's a very powerful vessel after all. When the engines are thrown into reverse, a violent jolt goes across the entire ship. Any small objects that aren't fastened down are bound to fall over. I believe... Yes, it's what's known as the force of inertia acting on the objects. Is there nothing Sasato-san doesn't know? We also still need to clear up the confusion about how we have been, apparently, what is it called? Like, drugged or something. Well, whatever it's called, the same force that pushed over those books on their bookshelves also made something else in this cabin move. The bolt on the cabin door. Ah, it was very obvious just off the emergency stop that the ship made earlier. We had come into this cabin not long before and we hadn't bolted the door. But then... Hello, is anyone in there? Shout if you need assistance. Oh, that sounds like... Inspector Tsunaga! Oh yes, that's it. When the ship stopped suddenly, the bolt flew across and locked the door. Yes, it's made of metal, but it's small and light enough to be moved by the ship's sudden change of speed. Or the forces of ineptia, if you want to call it. Inertia. Ineptia is ineptitude. Are you trying to say that last night, after Mr. Asogi was killed... Naruhodo. The SS Burya made another emergency stop? When I woke up this morning and looked around the cabin, I thought it looked a little odd. All the books on the shelves had toppled over, and all the ornaments. It was almost as if someone had run their hands across the shelves and deliberately knocked everything over. Oh yes, I remember that. And I stood them all up again, didn't I? Then when we came into this cabin, we were surprised to see the same thing here. All the books and everything had toppled over, just like in Mr. Asogi's cabin. Oh my! Do you have anything to say about this, Miss Pavlova? Are you out of your mind? You say Burya made emergency stop. It does seem a little far-fetched. How could that possibly have happened? Unless you're saying that the culprit is actually someone from the engine room. Oh, it is simple enough. Are you forgetting the button in the passageway outside? Used to trigger the emergency alarm. Oh yes, of course. There was a notice, wasn't there, telling you only to press the button in times of emergency. But everyone would have heard that, unless we were drugged with sleeping drugs. But then the plan would have been... But if we all drugged with sleeping drugs, then they would have had to put that in our food, and that would have happened like before the whole thing. So this was a planned murder. On dark nights, when the fog is dense, the captain cannot afford to rely on the eyes of his lookout alone. Hence the placement of a number of buttons across the vessel to allow any crewman to raise the alarm. The sort of button one is almost compelled to press to satisfy one's curiosity. Wait, it was you? When the button is pressed, two things happen in the interest of safety. Oh, he pressed the emergency alarm. Amazing. The emergency alarm bell rings and the vessel comes to a complete stop. As indeed it did a little earlier today. Okay, he's actually... Alright, he actually helped us with that one, but I would say a blind chicken also finds a kernel. Mr. Sholmes, surely it wasn't you who... As I was always say, a button has but one purpose in life. To be pressed, whatever the occasion. Well, what about, you know, to wear it? He sounds almost proud of himself. How dare you mess with sheep? I'll report you to Captain. You're in much trouble now. Now, I'm sure all can wait until later. Let us not overlook the fact that we have now learned a valuable lesson. When the vessel makes an emergency stop, the bolts on the cabin door slide closed. Which is actually like a really bad security flaw. So, now, what we must now consider. Yes, it all comes down to one thing now. Last night, after what had happened to Mr. Sogi, did this ship make an emergency stop, or did it not? You're idiots. Burya is a huge ship with many passengers. If we make emergency stop, even in the middle of night, there would be chaos everywhere. And what are your thoughts, Mr. Naruto? We were drugged. It's certainly possible that some kind of emergency happened last night. We have evidence to support that idea. Really? What evidence, Mr. Naruto? Fascinating. Do show us, my good man. What evidence promotes the theory that someone gripped this vessel? Ooh, that's gonna be interesting. Maybe this?
Yes!
The ship's log? Seaman Stroganoff. It's your duty to patrol the first-class area of the ship. I thought this was so they could hide something that happened, but if he was simply not there because of an emergency, that will also be explained. It's your duty to patrol the first-class area of the ship, isn't that right? That is correct. Why? And the ship's log here. This would be where you record the details of your duties. What are you doing with that? That is mine. Ah, you rather carelessly left it atop on the little makeshift bureau in the passageway out there. But as responsible passengers, we took it into our care with a mind to return to you later. I left it there on purpose. That is where I put it always. The point is, looking at what you usually record, it's clear that under normal circumstances you write the phrase "nothing to report" every 30 minutes. But from 2 o'clock last night until first light this morning, nothing was recorded at all. You know, he could have just done that afterwards and we wouldn't have figured that out. Nothing recorded in the log. That is. Duh. Because nothing happened. But if nothing happened, you would normally write "nothing to report." Also, for some reason, my breath, like my mouth tastes terrible. Is it something I've... It just happens sometimes. I don't know why. Like this very, very bad taste. Need to inspect the mouth later a little. But if I think I saw a video on Reddit once where someone was basically going with like a specialized tool to pull out some weird droplets of some sweat or some sorts from like glands inside the mouth, and I think it's that, but like I can't really see that, right? But if nothing happened, you would normally write "nothing to report," wouldn't you? Oh. Indeed so, which tells us that shortly after 2 a.m. something happened here aboard the SS's Bury. Something sufficiently significant to make you forget to fill in the ship's log, in fact. Are you suggesting that the ship really did make an emergency stop in the middle of the night? Stop talking rubbish. If I'm perfectly honest, I find it a little hard to believe myself. Oh, why? Well, because if something as major as an emergency stop really had happened, surely all of us would have noticed. That's very true. Thanks to the emergency stop we experienced earlier, we all know what it feels like now. The ship lurched so violently and the alarm bell was so loud. I can't imagine that anybody would sleep through that, even if it happened in the dead of night. He did like chicken! The only reason why... So everyone is asleep, right? And they had that beforehand, but the one person who wasn't asleep was Kazuma Asugi. Why? Because he doesn't like chicken, so he didn't eat the chicken? Well, no, that's a good point. What of the throbbing? Sorry? What do you mean? Your head, man. The throbbing of your head since this morning. We all have suffered with it. Ah. Oh, yes. I have a headache, you're right. In fact, I haven't been feeling myself since I woke up today. Nor have I. My head has been feeling heavy ever since dawn. Yes, you've all been afflicted, haven't you? Just as I suspected. He's right, my head's been throbbing today too. And since eating dinner yesterday evening, everything has felt sort of hazy. I can't really remember anything that happened after I climbed back inside the wardrobe. Then the first thing I noticed this morning was the throbbing pain in my head. I had already been dragged out of the wardrobe and had those handcuffs put on me by that point. I didn't wake up when all that was happening to me. Tell me, Mr. Naredo, you boarded this vessel as a stowaway, didn't you? Oh, well, yes, sorry. This stowaway class of accommodation doesn't usually include meals. What did you survive on? Well, Kazuma looked after me. He was always happy to share his meals. So you enjoyed some of the whole roast chicken dish that was served yesterday evening, I take it? Yes, in fact, I had all of that. Kazuma wasn't fond of chicken. Oh, really? So the victim didn't eat any of the chicken at all? That's right, he didn't touch it. Is that relevant? Yes, it is. My brain juices are so happy right now. My dear fellow, does that not strike you? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, do you mean to say that there was something wrong with the chicken? I do. No, really? Is that really true? The meal prepared for the passengers last night had been tampered with. Tampered with by the addition of a soporific designed to induce a very deep slumber in those who consumed it. A sleeping drug? Do you mean whoever did this laced every meal with a sleeping drug so no one would notice the ship's emergency stop? Mr. Naruto, of course that's not what Mr. Sholmes means. What a far-fetched idea. Precisely. Lacing every meal of every passenger on board with a soporific drug would certainly be possible. Unless, that is, every single member of the crew was a conspirator. What? Mr. Sholmes? Well, seaman? I'm sorry to say that any more deception in this matter will get you nowhere. If you refuse to talk, there would have to be an inquiry made through the shipping company, of course. And were that to happen, every member of the crew and the captain himself would be hauled over the coals. For aiding and abetting a renegade. Ooh, I need to Google what renegade means. Oh, right. So they were all helping here, I get it. Stroganoff. Please, no more. I will tell everything. Eh? I cannot make problems like this for everyone anymore. These crewmen are your former comrades, I believe. Yes, so when I decided to run away, I asked them to help me. We all agreed to help, everyone together. She threw away everything, her fame in the ballet. Mother Russia, you wanted to help our angel. I don't believe it. You are right. We put sleeping drug in chicken last night. Yes, I remember now. I did notice chewing on a lump of something strange and bitter at one point. Duh, we could not make all drug. How do you say? Dissolve? Ugh, talk about heavy seasoning. At midnight, in waters near Shanghai, we brought our angel on board. Oh! She was helped by a comrade on shore with a small fishing boat. So she did board last night. Well, all the passengers of the SS Brio slept soundly, thanks to the almost magical effects of the slumber-inducing potion their evening meals had contained. So if that's what happened, the only people awake on the ship last night were the crew, people who disliked chicken, and the newly boarded passenger, Miss Pavlova. And that means it would have been possible for you. You could have used the emergency stop trick to lock Cosmo's cabin door. But how does that make sense? Surely every cabin door would have ended up locked in that case and there would have been complete chaos. Oh, I wouldn't say so. What? Ah, of course. Just like us, all the other passengers would have eaten their evening meal of chicken in their cabins, after which they would have been overwhelmed by tiredness because of the sleeping drug. Quite, and accordingly, all passengers were already in their cabins for the night. They don't eat in like a shared thing? They all get like the food delivered to them? That's crazy. Yes. The overwhelming majority of passengers would have habitually sleep with the cabin doors bolted anyway, and so not one of them would have found it remarkable to find the door locked in the morning. In summary, in order to fasten the bolt of a single cabin door on the ship, the culprit brought the entire vessel to an emergency stop in the early hours of the morning. You have talked long and said many things. What is point? The point is what I said earlier. There was somebody else present on the scene when the victim lost his life last night. Someone who left a message in Russian on the floor in an attempt to incriminate another. Someone who tried desperately to hide the broken fragments of glass that would reveal the culprit's identity. It's either her or it's him, I think. And also, the person didn't have to be there when he died. He could have entered afterwards. And someone who used the ship's emergency stop procedure in order to lock a door. All told, a busy night. But I don't know about any of this. I'm just a little girl. You like to speak with your long English words and explain your clever ideas. But I am sailor, and sailors don't listen to long, boring stories. We don't believe. Sailors like me, we trust only what we see with our eyes. A laudable trait. What? I am quite of the same disposition, my good man. Observation to me is everything. Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, yes? Do you hear it? That accusatory cry of guilt on the wind. What accusatory cry of guilt? Sorry, you've lost me. Proof of involvement, man. But you can't hear such a call with your ears, no. You must hear it with your eyes, for observation is the basis of all deduction. What are you talking about? I believe the time has come for one final logic and reasoning spectacular to expose the truth. So, Mr. Naruhodo, your assistance, if you please. With what exactly, Mr. Sholmes? With observation, my dear fellow, just as I said, of these two prevaricators. Observation? If we remember, Mr. Naruhodo, we know that somebody tried to fabricate evidence, don't we? By tampering with the scene of Mr. Selby's death. What we're looking for is some trace of evidence that one of these two was there when it happened. Precisely. You are delightfully quick to grasp my meaning. Alright, I'll see what I can see. So we're looking for a trace of evidence that shows someone else was there last night when Kazuma died. Do we look at him or them? Oh ho!
Yes!
Seaman Stroganoff. You seem to have quite a large purple stain on the back of your white uniform there. Eh? Ah, yes, I don't know where the dirt comes from. So nothing in particular comes to mind about the stain. What are you trying to say? It would appear that the significance of the stain has escaped your attention, Seaman. Allow us to make it plain. It is a very large purple stain on the back of Seaman Stroganoff's uniform, and I think what made it is clear. Indeed it is. So, Mr. Naruhodo, present the evidence that supports it. My pleasure. Alright then. The evidence that proves what that stain on the back of Seaman Stroganoff's uniform really is the ink bottle? Can I see the ink bottle from this? Where do I see the ink bottle? I guess I'll just present this. Crime scene report. Heck yeah. Yes, it's this photograph, and the ink it shows. That's what caused the stain on your uniform. Ink? A rather unusual color of ink. Purple. Ah! Yes, the penny drops, at last. Now you see the significance. The Russian word on the floor next to the victim's body was written in purple ink. And the stain on the back of your uniform is ink of the exactly same color. If the ink had been dry, it couldn't possibly have stained your uniform in that way. Which means you must have been present in the cabin in the moments immediately after the ink was spilled. Alright, yes, it was me. I did it. Everything. I arranged everything in that student's cabin to make it look like Wardrobe Man did it. Then I pressed button to make Buria do emergency stop and bolt cabin door shut. I did everything so no one would suspect or Angel. Biff, please. Don't worry, Angel. Let me do talking. It was after 1 in the morning. I was on duty, patrolling passageway. Then an angel came to me. She was white like sheet. Biff, please, you must help me. I went with her. The door to cabin number 1 was open. When I looked inside, I saw student boy on the floor. What happened here? What happened here? Please, don't tell anyone. My little one. My little furry friend. Everything that happened in the cabin is like Angel told you. The kitten escaped through the ventilator into Mr. Sogi's cabin. Then he tripped over and he broke his neck when he fell to the. Then he tripped over and broke his neck when he fell to the floor. Yes, that is right. So after the incident, when the cat ran away, Miss Pavlova then visited the cabin next to hers, only to find its occupants lying lifeless on the floor. She said she was worried when she heard the sound of something falling on the floor. That's when she went to look. No, Angel? The door was not locked, so she opened to look, and you already know what happened after. There's just one thing, if you wouldn't mind. What? When you went to Mr. Soki's cabin, Miss Pavlova, was he already dead? Why? I already told you. When Nina opened the door of the student's cabin and looked inside, I was asking Miss Pavlova. Huh? Well, Miss Pavlova? Da. Oh. Yes, that is right. I saw him. It was dark, and he was wearing black, but he was on the floor, not moving. I was scared. I understand, and I believe you. So, is that finally it now? Have we discovered the real truth about Kazuma's death at last? Ah, something very nearly slipped my mind. Oh, Mr. Sholmes? This photograph. Yes, I took this myself, you know. The cause of death was a broken neck, therefore the victim died instantly. And the unfortunate incident that precipitated these events, a kitten, on which the victim stumbled. However, if those are the facts, there is one particular area in this photograph that seems to me somewhat unnatural. What exactly? What do you mean unnatural? What are your thoughts on the matter, Mr. Naruto? Huh? Oh, well. If Kazuma tripped and fell, and by some terrible stroke of bad luck broke his neck, which part of this photographic print seems unnatural? I mean, the finger, I guess? But like, he made it to look like that is, you know? Well, that his like, head is on the left?
Yes!
I guess I can just ramble. This word in Russian clearly wasn't written by Kazuma, so if you're looking for something unnatural, that's the obvious point. No. Very true, it is certainly peculiar, but it's not what I mean by unnatural, I'm afraid. That particularly cross detail was orchestrated by the culprit. I mean to identify another point. Oh, I see. Imagine, if you will, losing your footing yourself. In my opinion, if you landed as the victim appears to have done here, it would be most unnatural. I'm sure you'll reach the same conclusion. How thoughtful you are, Mr. Sholmes. Thank you for your gentle guidance. Gentle guidance, Law. Cut and tripped and fell to which part of the... So, A, I didn't lose any, like, points. But, like, why is this hand clutched?
Yes!
Alright, if he really fell due to an unfortunate accident, then this fist just doesn't seem quite right. The exact same thought occurred to me. If a fall, one's instinct is to open the palms first. Yet here we see the victim with his left hand tightly balled into a fist. Almost, you might say, as though he were gripping something. What do you mean? Simply that I took the liberty of investigating the victim's fist a short while ago. Oh no, you did? And what, pray, do you imagine I found there, my dear fellow? Mr. Sholmes, show us! Wait, what is he? Show us, please, but it could be in suspense. This is what I found. So she was the one there, Oh, a crescent moon with a little gemstone in the middle. Yes, you're right. A crescent moon. It's very pretty, but what does it tell us? It tells us a great deal. Never mind, it's... I thought this was this, but I guess not. I thought this was that. It tells us nothing. I'm not so sure. The crescent moon looks... It looks familiar somehow. I'm sure I've seen it somewhere before. Observation, Mr. Naruhodo, that is the key. What? The truth is now tantalizingly close. How did that crescent moon come to be in Kazuma's clenched fist? This is the final clue, the last piece of the puzzle. Ask yourself, what does this little crescent moon mean? What significance has it? And observe, find the answer with your own eyes. It's hers.
Yes!
I'm sorry, little one. I am sorry, little one. But you have been found out. Miss Pavlova, on your ear there. I see you have a crescent moon as well. Ah. What? And on your other ear. There seems to be a crescent moon missing. The little link holding it on must have broken, I presume. He is shocked, so the sailor is shocked, so he didn't even... I think he was not aware of this, even. Now, the missing crescent moon was found in the victim's clenched fist. Clearly, there is only one logical conclusion. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes. Miss Pavlova, Mr. Asogi must have grasped that crescent moon and pulled it from your ear. That must have hurt. Perhaps just moments before he fell to the floor. In other words, last night, in Mr. Asogi's cabin, you witnessed the moment when the victim fell with your own eyes. In fact, you were quite literally at arm's length from him. Shrug him off. But then the question is, why did Mr. Asogi do that? Why did he pull your earring from your ear and hold it in his clenched fist during his final moments? Oh no. Angel? No one can protect you now. Please, Miss Pavlova, tell us the truth. Last night, what did you do to Kazuma? Ah! Here! What did she do? When I think about everything that happened yesterday, it was too much. Running away, the fishing boat in the middle of the night, trying to climb onto this huge ship. And then, when I was at last in this cabin and I could relax after this horrible long day. Meow! Darka, wait! I couldn't believe it when she disappeared through the ventilator. I tried to call her with the little whistle. I tried waving her favorite toy. But nothing worked. Dako would not come back. So the reason why the diary entry was interrupted was not because he was killed at that moment, but because somebody knocked at the door and wanted to get the thing. Knock knock. Clunk. What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine. He knew of the inspector? That's funny. The young man from your country. He was very polite and kind. He helped me to find Darka, and he promised not to tell anyone. And then, when I had my friend in my arms again, I was going to leave the man's cabin. Just a moment, sorry, but... Oh, yes? I'm sure I know your face. I've seen you somewhere before. Ah. You're Nikolina Pavlova, aren't you? The Russian ballerina. Huh? No! I don't know that name. My heart nearly stopped when he said that. He knew who I was. How could this man from a land from the far away east know a Russian ballerina? Yes, I saw your performance in Japan. The beauty of the ballet made a deep impression of me. But what are you doing on this ship? I'm sure I read that your ballet company was performing in Shanghai at the moment. I can't fool him. I have to tell him the truth and hope he doesn't tell anyone. I have no other choice. I see. So you've run away. Please keep my secret. Give me a moment. I could use another opinion here. He's going to pull that cord. He's going to tell the captain. Why did I think I could trust him? Then it happened. Everything at once. It was only a second, but it felt like forever. Wait! I shouted, and then... Meow! Darka just jumped out of my arms and down to the young man's feet. And... No, he wanted to get my opinion. As he turned around to look at me, the slow turnaround. He knocked over that. I pushed him. I don't even know why. I don't know why I did it. I was just so scared. And I had to stop him from telling anyone about me. You know, this kind of reminds me, not Sherlock Holmes, Captain Holt from Brooklyn Nine saying like, no, he did not say cough. Give me a second. Captain Holt from Brooklyn Nine saying, sometimes I would push a man just to see him frown, and that kind of gives me the same vibe. And that's when he went to fetch help from Seaman Stroganov, who was on duty out in the passageway. I heard Nina cry out on the third floor, so I ran to her. She was standing at cabin door, shaking like leaf. She looked at me and said, "Help me, Biff. If they find out, I will be... Please, I have nowhere to go." So you decide to help. And that's when you arrange things in Kazuma's cabin to make it look like I did it, so that no one would suspect the passenger in the cabin next door. Yes, I went into cabin and looked around to make sure there was nothing to show Nina was there, and then I found Stowaway, in wardrobe, still sleeping. Right, that's when he found me. So you worked out a plan to lay the blame on the Stowaway. I closed wardrobe doors and put back strange paper sign. Luckily for me, that's the only reason Susato-san started to believe me when I said I was innocent. I dragged young man's body to a good place and used ink that was spilling to right floor. I wrote, so that person who would find him would look inside wardrobe and find Stowaway. And tell me, what of the glass bell? It was by my feet, so I picked it up. I see. But it was dark in the cabin. I didn't notice the other half. Then Angel went back to her cabin, and I'd finished up by pressing the emergency alarm button in the passageway. Yes. Accordingly, the SS Borea did indeed come to an emergency halt at a little after 2 AM, thus enticing the bolt in the cabin door to slide shut, creating the locked room mystery. There's still one thing I don't understand, Miss Pavlova. What? Well, you said that you told Kazuma about the fact that you'd run away from your homeland, and it's because you were worried he was going to tell the captain that you pushed him. Isn't that right? Yes, But even you had pulled the bell cord and called for the captain of the ship. Aren't you friends with every member of the crew? Why would that have been a problem? It was what he said first. That made me scared. What he said first? What are you doing here at this time of night, Inspector? Oh, Inspector. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a friend of mine. You said an inspector was his friend. Ah, yes, meaning me. Was supposed to be acting as his bodyguard. I thought that if police knew about me, they would arrest me. They can't yet arrest you in international waters. So before he could pull the bell cord, I... May I stop you a moment, Miss Pavlova? Huh? It just doesn't seem to make sense. I mean, was Mr. Soap really going to pull the bell cord? I don't know. No, he wasn't. He was trying to get me out of the cabin. Kind of be like, hey, I have a secret, you have a secret, now we both have a secret, and we promise not to tell everyone else. What do you think, Mr. Naruto? Well, I'm not Cosmo, so I can't know for certain, but... He was a man of his word. If he told you he wouldn't give your secret away, then he wouldn't have done. No, he was walking over to it. He was going to pull the cord. He was going to make them send me back. Well, Mr. Naruto, the day's work is not yet done, it seems. There is one more deduction to make. What? Another deduction? Yes. What action was the victim really about to take at the moment? It was calling for me. Can we determine whither the young man's gaze was directed? First, consider the victim's location within his cabin. That's easy, I remember every detail of that room. I mean, yes, I spent quite a lot of time in the wardrobe, but still. That cabin has been my home for this entire voyage. So this is how the cabin looked like last night when Miss Pavlova visited Kazuma-san. Yes, it's exactly how it was. Are you ready then, Mr. Naruto? Yes, if there's one thing I've learned today, it's that simple gaze can reveal all manners of truth. And not only that, in order to draw the right conclusion, you can't afford to be out by even a little bit when you're following the gaze to where it lands. So, when he turned away from Miss Pavlova, what exactly was Kazuma looking at? The wardrobe. It's not the bell cord, it's not the bed. Wasn't there an achievement for that? I think. Nah. Kazuma placed a large book of law underneath his pillow. I believe he was going to consult the book in order to find a way to help you. Although I'm not quite sure Japanese law would have been relevant, but still. That's kind of funny. Mr. Naruto, the truth is absolute. You cannot see someone look one way but follow the gaze another. Ah, sorry. I had a feeling it was wrong. From my understanding, it was quite wrong. You appear to be out by a fair margin. Actually, no. You were out by a mile. Ugh, sorry. I wonder if we get punished, or because I kind of want to see what he says if we just say the bell code again. Man's mind better than his greatest friend, surely. Yes, I knew him well. At the very least, I'm convinced of one thing. Kazuma wouldn't have just called the crewman or the captain in the situation. According to Miss Pavlova, Kazuma's exact words were, I could use another opinion here. Whose opinion was he hoping for? I feel sure I ought to know. So when he turned away from Miss Pavlova, what exactly was Kazuma? Oh, he didn't know I was sleeping. Bell code, yes, just give the bell code. Kazuma really wasn't the kind of man to ignore an earnest plea like that. It wouldn't have been at all like him to call the inspector when he'd asked him not to. But looking at the scene now, it's hard to see what possible other explanation there could be. Mr. Naruto, the truth? Alright. So the truth is not the bed, not the thing, not anything else, it's the wardrobe! Considering everything that had happened last night, certainly it may have looked as though Kazuma was going to ring the bell cord. Yes, however... What is directly beside the bell cord? The wardrobe. The wardrobe? And more importantly, what was inside the wardrobe? The man's great friend, sleeping soundly. Ah! Miss Pavlova, please, think back very carefully. What were Mr. Asogi's exact words last night? Give me a moment, I could use another opinion here. Another opinion? Yes, but not from a member of the crew. No, Mr. Asogi intended to consult his close friend on the matter. To see if between them they might be able to help in some way, no doubt. Oh, no. No! Sadly, we can't know the truth for certain now. It's too late for that. But I wish you had made sure of what Mr. Asogi was looking at. Things may have ended very differently if you had. This is so tragic, like, just losing a friend because of like, misunderstanding and accident. It's tragic. You can't really be mad at her either. Miss Pavlova, I want to thank you for finally admitting the truth. But unfortunately, the truth is, a man lost his life because of what you did. And that will never change. I hope you'll never forget that. I'm sorry. Really. I'm so sorry. What have I done? And so, at long last, the mystery surrounding the tragic accident on the SS Buria was finally laid to rest. Interesting, this is like a new hybrid. This is not a trial at all. This is just talking with people and convincing them. Basically having trial and what is it called? Trial and the examination and investigation phase intertwined. Which is like not a wild idea if you're like outside the Ace Attorney sphere, but like inside the Ace Attorney sphere, this is a novelty. What will happen to Miss Pavlova now then? Once we reach Great Britain, she'll be handed over to the British police at Scotland Yard. What about the fact that she ran away from Russia, when the Russians tried to repatriate her? Apparently, the English detective can speak to the immigration office and sort all that out. Mr. Sholmes can do that? He's a fraud, isn't he? I'm actually surprised if he could do that. So she won't be going back to Russia then? No, I don't think so. Even if she wanted to return in the future, I doubt she would be able to. She ran away, so now she's in exile for life. I see. Naruhodo. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Simon Stroganoff. I wanted to help her, Angel, no matter what. But I didn't think about you, and about how you lost good friend. I will go with Nina. I will give myself to British police. That's kind of you. In the meantime, thank you for letting me go free again. Kazuma's death feels like such a waste. But... well, do what you can for Miss Pavlova, won't you? The tragic thing is, if we weren't there, if we weren't in the wardrobe, if we weren't a stowaway, this would not have happened this way. So he would have lived. Well, I'm afraid you need to pack now. We're due to arrive in Hong Kong tomorrow. As much as it pains me, I'm going to have to hand you over to the consul to arrange your passage back to Japan. Yes, I did stow away after all. I couldn't really expect any different. Come on, is he not going to be the student? What the heck? So, you should get back to your cabin now. Is he not going to be the student replacement? That's a bullockery. It looks like my study tour to Great Britain is over before it has even begun. Then... oh, this looks actually even more tidy. To think that only days ago, Kazuma and I were laughing together about how we tear up the streets of London. That seems like a distant memory now. Oh, what's that? Is it someone weeping? Oh no. Susato? Susato-san? Naruto-san, I didn't know you had returned. Oh, well, I haven't been back long. Inspector Hosonaga just told me I should pack. You know, ready to leave the ship tomorrow and all that. I still can't believe this had happened. I can't believe someone's life can be over just like that. Susato-san. This is a sad ending to this episode. He had such grand ideas for his visit to Great Britain, so many dreams, and now they've been cruelly taken away, just as he has. I thought I could never forgive the person responsible. But now we know the truth. That it was just an accident. Just a silly series of mishaps. He's gonna go insane. It's too much, Naruto-san. It's just too much. Yes, I know. I wish there was something I could say. Inspector, my duty was to see Sogi-san safely to Great Britain. But I failed, and caused his two closest friends great pain and suffering as a result. Heck! Great pain and suffering as a result. I've let everyone down. And I will do anything to make up for my terrible blunder. Nobody blames you, Inspector. Well, if you want to make up, make sure I'm the student. And I'm free again now. Huh? Yeah, I was about to say. Ha ha ha. Surprise, Mr. Naruto? What is the meaning of this? Ah, a trifling matter. Simply that in my head I think I shall always picture you wearing those shackles. Without them, the balance seems all wrong. It's distracting. Sorry? So I decided to restore them. For old time's sake, shall we say. You're a stowaway after all. Ha 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 ha. He thinks this is funny? Mr. Sholmes. We do appreciate all your assistance. I'd like to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Not at all, not at all. And though it's a little late, may I offer my sincere condolences. The loss of your companion is truly heartbreaking. I hope that you will be able to fulfill some of his aspirations in his honor. I'm afraid that won't be possible. We shall be disembarking at the next port in Hong Kong. We have to return to Japan and make a full report about everything that happened. What? Wait a minute. It's just me that has to go back, isn't it? I mean, I was the stowaway. The terms of the study tour were negotiated by the Department of Justice in both Great Britain and Japan. It was to be one lawyer and one assistant. Was to be. In the light of Mr. Asogi's unfortunate death, I'm afraid the study tour can no longer go ahead. But I'm the student. Oh no, I don't care for me, but... Poor Susato-san. My dear fellows, the majority of problems have an extremely simple solution, you know? As you require, or all you require is one lawyer, and the study tour can continue, surely. But there is no one else with the necessary qualifications, Mr. Sholmes. We know of no other lawyer. Fuck you! Qualifications, you say? Any qualifications obtained in your own country will be of little value in Great Britain, I'm afraid. Oh, but anyways, the voyage to London still promises a good month of time. Ample opportunity, I would say, to find yourselves another suitable lawyer. Yes, But he had to be from Japan, and there is no other person from Japan except this lawyer who defended himself in court already. Who just should it be? We don't know. It's such a hard question to answer. Mr. Sato. Yes? Do you think perhaps I might be able to do it? But you're not a lawyer, Mr. Naruto. Oh, unless... Are you studying law? No, I'm not, but... I'm sorry. In that case, I don't think there's even a chance it could work. But as I said, there's still more than a month before we reach England's shores. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruto? Yes, I have a month in which to study, to learn what I must to become a lawyer in Great Britain. That's just the... That's actually funny. I didn't realize we were not a lawyer. I thought we were a lawyer because we were studying with him. But apparently not. What is a course of study exactly? Because, like, that's gonna be actually funny. Like, we have probably all the law books that he has, so we could study, but this is actually just funny. I love this. That's ridiculous. Are you suggesting anybody could learn all of that in just 40 days? There's only one way to find out. I would work my fingers to the bone, Inspector, every single day. Will you let me try? And if, by the time we reach Great Britain, I haven't learned enough to be recognized as a lawyer, I'll take whatever punishment is deemed appropriate. Death. But why put yourself in such a difficult situation? For Kazuma. Cry. He said there was something he had to do in Great Britain, and that he would sacrifice anything to make it happen. He was passionate about it. I can't let all the passion just come to nothing. And anyway, it's for my own benefit too. I will become a lawyer. I have to. Oh, that's interesting, and this is why we didn't have a trial or anything like we did in Dock in Hong Kong and do the trial there, because this shows how he can be a lawyer even with no proper procedure and everything. The first time was like, yeah, he could do well on trial, and this time it was basically showing he could just have the logic even without help, I guess. What do you say, Mr. Sato? Oh, she smiles again. I think it's a wonderful idea. Thank you. So, what does our bespectacled inspector friend say? Are you serious? One lawyer and one assistant. The numbers are indisputable. No. It's madness. Yet fascinating, shouldn't you agree? Fascinating? Duty and rules are the dull routine of existence that we all abhor. Give us interest, give us fascination. Speak for yourself. Besides, qualifications are no measure of a man. What matters is his character, no? And you've witnessed ample evidence of this man's exemplary character today with your own eyes. From the early hours of this morning until this very moment now. Despite contending with the passing of this close companion, and despite the accusation of guilt, this man has shown resourcefulness, intelligence, and above all, courage. Very well. I'll think of a clever way to word my report to the Department of Justice. Inspector, after all, I did just make a promise, didn't I? I said that I'd do anything at all to make up for my shortcomings here. You fool! You were trapped by your own words. Oh, thank you, Inspector. If you'll excuse me, I must pay a visit to the captain's quarters. I think I need to discuss what to do next and how best to make my report. Are you really prepared to attempt this, Mr. Naruto? Yes, I'm going to try. I wonder, would you consider teaching me what I need to know? Everything about being a lawyer. I would be delighted to help you. I am a judicial assistant after all. Thank you. And, Mr. Naruto, I'd like you to take charge of this. What? Me? Are you sure? I'm sure it's what Kazuma-sama would have wanted. Its name is Karuma. It's a great sword that's been in the Asogi clan for generations. Very well, I accept. I'll treasure it always. So then, Miss Susato, it seems we'll be working together for some time to come yet. It will be an honor, Mr. Naruto. And for the next 40 days, I shan't grant you a single minute of freedom. We shall fill every spare moment with study. Yes, that's exactly what I need. But before we begin, I have an earnest favor to ask of you too. Goodness, what is it? Please throw me to the ground. 3 times. What? What? I should never have doubted you. You were Kazuma-sama's closest friend. Of course you would never have done anything to hurt him. That should have been obvious to me from the start. But I allowed suspicion to get the better of me, and no matter how upset I was feeling, it was completely unforgivable behavior. No, you were in shock. You just found out about me stowing away, and the cabin door was locked from the inside. No, I won't let you make excuses for me. Whatever the circumstances, I should never have thrown you, and not just once, but 5 times. That number keeps creeping up, doesn't it? Please, you must. Just take hold of me and throw me. Do it. Don't even think about it. No, I don't even know how. I'll never throw anyone in my life. Very wise, Mr. Naruto. It isn't a skill one acquires without a considerable training. Oh, Mr. Sholmes. I observed your throwing technique several times with great interest. I confess I was most impressed. When did you see that? I presume that would be a form of Japanese wrestling. Oh, well, in a way, it's not wrestling, but my own interpretation of an ancient jujutsu technique. Apparently it's called the Susato takedown. It leaves your head swimming, believe me. How beguiling. I am a practitioner of the competitive arms myself. I'm a somewhat accomplished boxer. There he goes, dancing around again. I wonder if you'd be so kind as to instruct me on the technique of your arresting throw. Yes, I'd be honored. Then let us not dally. Demonstrate, my dear madam. She's gonna demonstrate to me. Oh, of course. Are you ready, Mr. Naruto? Sorry. Hiya! As you can see, you throw from the abdomen. Ah, yes, arresting indeed. And that is what you term the Susato takedown, is it? Actually, no. That was a Susato squash. Amazing. It's 6 now. In my groggy state of consciousness, a scene from an evening recently spent with Kazuma flickered into my mind. Karuma? That's right. It's a prized sword that's been passed down through generations of the Asogi clan. I can't believe you managed to get permission to bring it with you. I mean, taking a katana on a study tour is more than a little irregular, surely. A Japanese man's sword is a soul, Ryunosuke. I can't be parted from my katana. Karuma guides me. I truly believe that. So its name compels its wielder to slice evil in two. Not that you would need much compelling. On that subject, there's something very important that I have to do in Great Britain, and I'll sacrifice anything to make it happen. I'd appreciate you seeing it through with me. Of course I will. Whatever it is, I'll see it through to the end with you. I knew you wouldn't let me down. What is it though? What is it? Tell me! That important thing he had to do. I still don't know what that was. No. But I'm going to see the place for myself and work it out. Ah yes, the whole of Great Britain. Or London, I guess. In Great Britain's capital, London. And of the second case of the Great Ace Attorney. Crash Course Candidate Achievement Card. Save your progress, yes. The Adventure of the Runaway Room. Investigation Part 1. Interesting. So that's almost half the game. But yes, this has been the second case. I hope you enjoyed it. For everyone watching. But give me just special context because I wanna what the accolades were for the second one. Like this was I didn't do that. Interesting. Anyways, what I want to say is give me just a second. Let's get alright. So this has been the Ace Attorney, the Great Ace Attorney Case 2. It was quicker than the first one, I would say. It took me like what, 5 hours? The other one took me 6 hours, I think. But yeah, I'll have to see if I'm gonna continue streaming this since, well, visual novels don't do that great on Twitch, I guess, and because it's gonna take a long time of it to just stick to indie games again. I have a passion for those at the moment. I really want to play so many of them. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.